Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another week of market prep. So for this week I've thought up something different. So this week I will only be concentrating on one type of animal because I realized that I'm kind of like understocking on this type of animal. So this week we will be only making dinos. So if you're not new to my channel, you probably know that I track all of my market prep in my market prep planner. And when I recently went through this, I realized that I only have one type of dino on this whole planner, and I only have 10 of those that I want to make. And last year at my fall and winter markets, dinos were actually pretty popular, and I had a couple of different types of dinosaurs in stock. So I really want to focus on that this week and make a couple of different dino patterns, some of which I've made before and some of which are completely new to me. So that is my plan for this week. So let's get into this market prep week. Okay, so over the course of the weekend, I've started to prep some dinos. I have not finished any of them, but I have a couple of works in progresses. So let me go through my big bag with all of the whips I currently have. So first of all, let's start out with the dino pattern I've been making consistently throughout the whole year. So that one is on my market prep planner, and I've already prepped a couple of them for my stock. So I'm talking about the brontosauruses. So this is what they kind of look like. This one is still missing a tail, but the rest of it is finished. So we have the long neck and the eyes already added, and this one, so this color is my best selling color in this type of dino. So there's like light green, more like a warm green. So this one is always super popular. And that is why on my prep planner, I have actually decided to make 3 out of the 10 in this color because this one usually gets picked up first. So that is why I have so many of those. And this one is the final in this color that I want to prep for my stock. So we have a pretty good progress on that one made so far, just the tail missing. And then I also have another Brontosaurus work in progress. So this one is not that far done. This is like a light baby pink. And I only want to make one of those. So this will be the only one, but I ended up running out of this yarn color back at home. So we will keep working on that one as well today and hopefully finish that one up as well. And then for the brontosauruses, my plan on my market prep planner, for the rest of them, I will just like go off whatever I want to make. But for these, I've actually planned out what I want to make. So after those two, I will be making 2 more of those brontosauruses, one in light blue, which I've brought over. So this like very light blue color, and then one in a bright green, which I have not currently brought over, but we will get to that at some point throughout this week. So these will be the 4 brontosauruses that I want to prep. And then I've also started to work on another dinosaur, and this one is currently in parts. This one is way bigger than the brontosauruses. So I've started to work on that over the weekend, and I currently have 2 feet and 2 arms. So you can already kind of see the color palette for this one. So this will be a candy corn triceratops, and I found a free pattern for that. So this one is by the Nicole Chase. She has quite a lot of awesome free dinosaur patterns on her page, and I will be linking all of the dinosaur patterns that I will be using this week down below. So she has quite a lot of dinosaur patterns, and this one is the smaller size triceratops. So this one already is quite big, but ideally if I have the time, I also want to make the big version of this one over the course of this week. But for now, I will be working on a small one and making it candy corn themed because I want to lean into a couple of fall patterns and try and make a couple of those. So this is the color palette, and then I also have the tail made, which is this piece. And then this is what makes it candy corn themed. I also have the little horns made. So this is what they look like, just like little candy corns. So those are all of the parts that I've prepped for the triceratops, and I'm really looking forward to that. I've never made this pattern before. I've made quite a lot of her patterns in the past. So I made a lion for a custom order. I've made her puppy and something else I can't really remember right now, but I really like her patterns. They're very understandable, and the best thing is that they're all free and they're pretty detailed and pretty nice size. So that is awesome when pattern creators do that. So I'm really looking forward to work on the Triceratops a little more pretty soon. But for now, I think I actually want to work on the two brontosauruses that I have already started to work on, just to get a little progress done and also fill out my market prep planner a little more and get something done there. So that is what I will be working on for right now, and I will check in with you guys once I have something to show you, hopefully to finish dinos. Okay friends, so the first dino has been finished. So the green little brontosaurus is now completely made up. So first dino down and many more to come. So let me now grab the baby pink yarn and work on the second brontosaurus, and I'm not sure in which order my videos are coming out, but let me show you my new yarn storage real quick while I grab some baby pink yarn. And just in case you've seen it before, this still might be interesting how I use it now. So let me grab that. Okay friends, so I'm about to head out of the studio for today, but I wanted to show you what I got finished. So I was able to completely finish up this baby pink dinosaur, and I really like this color. I think like unusual color combinations like this are sometimes super popular and like just like an eye catcher. That is why I wanted to make another one of these pink little guys. And then I actually started to work on the third brontosaurus, so the baby blue little dino, and this is how far I've gotten with this one. So quite far already, I think. So I will of course be working on that one tonight because I really want to get those brontosauruses finished first, because as I said before, these are the ones that I actually have planned to prep. And now we only have two more, so the baby blue and then the bright green one, where I have the yarn at home for. So we will see how much I can get done tonight for those. But I'm really looking forward to also working on some new dinosaur patterns, like the candy corn triceratops and some others that I have picked out. So I'm really hoping to get at least a good chunk of the brontosauruses done tonight, so then tomorrow we can work on some new things. Hi friends, it's now the next day and I'm so glad to be back at the studio. I've honestly had such a frustrating day today, so I'm glad that I finally get to check in with you and work on some dinos again. I honestly don't really know if you will ever see this video because the problems I've been running into today were all related to my computer not working properly anymore, so I can't really edit videos currently. So I don't really know what I will do about that, because I kind of need my computer for lots of different work and I'm not that tech savvy and I don't really know how to solve my problems with my computer. But I'm hoping that by the time you are watching this video, I have fixed those problems and I'm able to work on my videos again. But honestly, that has been so frustrating today. It keeps crashing and yeah, so that has not been a very fun day so far today, but now I'm finally over here and I can show you what I've been working on, and then we can keep on working some of these works in progresses, because I have not finished up any dinos since I spoke to you yesterday. I've just kept on working on some of them and started some new ones. So let me get right into those. So first of all, I showed you those yesterday. I have been working on my brontosauruses some more. So we have the green one, and this one needs a tail still, and then a blue one I've worked up to the same point. So 2 more brontosaurus tails that I need to make for them to be completed, and then we're finished with these brontosauruses, because then I will have 10 of those in stock. So that is a good number for me, and then we can move on to some other dinos for this week. The other one that I have already showed you yesterday is my candy corn triceratops. So I have quite a lot of parts made for that, and I'm almost to the point where I can sew all of them together. So yesterday I already showed you I had the 2 feet and the 2 arms made, and then I have all 3 of the horns. So here they are. I almost threw one of those away today because it's just such a small thing, and I thought that it was like some sort of beginning that I didn't keep like working on, so I almost threw that away today. So it's definitely time for me to attach them to the dino soon. But then yesterday evening I also worked on more parts for this triceratops, and this is honestly made up of so many small parts. So I still need to do quite a lot of sewing for this one, but I was able to make the body and then the head as well. So this is what they look like. Right now it kind of looks a little funky. Not gonna lie, I will have to trust the process on this one. I don't really know how I feel about this right now. But now the only part that is still missing for this one is the little thrill. So I've looked into the pattern, and I believe that is also made up of 2 parts. So quite a lot of parts for this one, but yeah, I will have to work on that and then sew all of those parts together. But we're currently up to 9 parts, so quite a lot there. So I didn't really feel like working on that anymore last night, so that is why I started yet another dinosaur. And the final dinosaur that I started working on is one that I've been wanting to make for quite a while. So this was like one of the first crochet plushies I ever saw, and one of the plushies that got me into actually crocheting plushies, but I've never made it. So here is the body for a little T-Rex, and this pattern is by Mary Makes on YouTube and then also on Instagram, but she also has it for free on her website. So I made up the body so far. I kind of messed up on it a little bit. Not sure if you can tell, but like this stripe, or like all of the stripes, are supposed to be like centered on the back. But since she uses worsted weight yarn and I use chenille yarn, somehow like it got twisted to the side. So especially this one is like very much twisted compared to the other stripes. But still, I think like the arms will sit right on top of here. So I think that might be able to like even it out a little more, but we will see about that. This one still needs a tail, 2 feet and 2 arms, so quite a lot of parts for this one as well. But I'm really motivated to actually start working on this one because I've never made it before, and I don't know, I've been really inspired to make this. So this actually inspired this whole week of crochet, because I suddenly like remembered that I've been wanting to make these for such a long time, but I have never tried them out. So that is what like inspired this whole idea of only working on dinos for an entire week. And I have so many more color combinations that I want to make for those. But for now, I'm not sure. I really want to work on this one. But at the same time, it would be so easy to finish up these 2. And then also like all of these little parts for the triceratops are kind of stressing me out. So I will collect myself for a minute, and then I will start working on some of these works in progress, and hopefully we can finish up at least a couple of them today. Okay friends, so I'm about to head out of the studio for today, but I wanted to show you what I finished today. So I completed those two Brontosauruses that I showed you earlier. So I made the two tails, which didn't take like all that long. And that now means I have 10 of these little guys in my inventory, and I'm super happy about that. So I am completely done with those. Those tend to be super popular, especially since like little babies and kids can grab them at their neck and hold onto them tightly. So I'm thinking that these will definitely sell throughout the season. So I'm happy to have quite a lot of those prepped. And then, as you saw, I was working on the Triceratops some more because, as I said, it's like stressing me out that I have so many little pieces for this one made. So I made up the frill for the Brontosaurus. This is what it's looking like. This was actually kind of challenging to make, so I'm glad that it turned out this way. So this is the front, this is the back, and this will go on top of the head. And I've also started to work on the head some more. So this is what it's looking like right now. I only have 2 horns attached currently because I messed up something on this one. So this one is a little shorter, like 1 row shorter than the other horn. So I don't want to sew this on, so I will have to remake 1 more of these bigger horns to sew on, and only then I'm able to attach the frill. So this is what it's like kind of going to look like. And yeah, then we will work through all of the different parts. So then I think the next thing that we will attach is the body, and then like arms, feet, and tail. So still quite a lot to do for that one, but I will definitely keep working on that later today, and hopefully I can check in tomorrow and show you the finished one. And then I also really want to keep working on this one tonight and see if it still looks as goofy as it is looking currently once I attach the arms, and hopefully I can cover the little stripe. But for the next one that I want to make with this pattern, I now know that I will have to adjust a couple of the stitch counts for the lighter color so that it turns out the way it is supposed to turn out. But yeah, hopefully this one will be finished tomorrow, and then we can have a fresh start and decide what else we want to work on. I still have quite a lot of dino patterns like in the back of my mind that I really want to try out or like start making again, because some of these I haven't made in like over a year. So we will see what else we get up to. I'm having so much fun making all of these different dinos and like trying out new patterns and just like switching it up a little bit from making all of the same patterns that I always make for markets. So yeah, I will keep working a little more tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow and show you what I got finished. Hi friends, I'm back at the studio, and it's actually not the next day but the day after that. So it's now Thursday, and I didn't get to check in with you guys yesterday because I ended up working on fixing my computer a lot more, and I finally found the culprit. So I found out that one of my RAM sticks is not working properly anymore. I had to do quite a bunch of tests and stuff like that, and I'm not a tech person, but by now I feel like I have a pretty good idea what's in my computer and how to test like all of the components if they're still working properly. And I finally found the thing that's wrong, so I can now send that in and get a replacement, because I think there's still like warranty on the part, so that's a good thing. I don't need to spend a ton of money on that, and I can finally get my computer fixed, which is a good thing because I really need to work on so many videos. Because if you don't know, by the time you're watching this video, I will be on vacation for 4 weeks. So I've been super busy prepping a ton of videos over the past couple of weeks to have enough in stock to like still put out a video every single week while I'm gone, and I need to cut quite a lot of them. So I really need my computer to work again. But that is not the point of this video. I wanted to show you what I've been working on since I last spoke to you, and since I didn't check in with you guys yesterday, I actually have quite a lot to show you. So here is my big bag, and there's quite a lot in here. So If I remember correctly, the last time I was talking to you, I was still working on the Triceratops. So that is actually the first thing that I finished up. So this is what he's looking like. As I said, he's like candy corn inspired, and I really, really like the way he turned out. He's also like quite a decent size. So this is like the smaller size Triceratops. There's like also a bigger version that has also like a free pattern, but this one is already like quite the big size. I personally really, really like the way he turned out. My boyfriend thought he was like kind of goofy because of like the whole frill here at the top, but at the same time, like he's not a dino person, and I believe quite a lot of kids are like very much into dinos and would recognize a Triceratops when they see one. So I still haven't like 100% decided if I will work on the big version as well over the course of this week and make like a bigger Triceratops as well. But for now, this is the one that I finished up, and he is looking absolutely amazing. I'm really glad that I chose this pattern to work on and complete that. And he can even like sit by himself. So we will just place him back here. And then the other plushie I was working on last time I spoke to you was the little like T-Rex. And I also finished that one. So this is what he turned out to look like. I really, really like this one as well. And he can also like stand up by himself. And not sure if you're able to tell, but this one like actually leans back a little bit, which is so, so cute. It's such a cute position for this dino to like be in. And I definitely think that this one will be super popular. It was a little more difficult to figure out like the placement of the feet and the arms and the tail, because the written pattern like doesn't really give any instructions. It just says like sew on arms, feet, and tail. And then I also watched the video that she put out about this pattern, and she kind of explains it a little more, but still like she mostly like goes off of vibes where she places everything. So I kind of had to figure out for myself where I want to place all of the parts, but I think he turned out so cute, and I really like the body shape. So I actually decided to keep working on those. Let me just place this one back here. So I decided to keep working on those T-Rexes, and I actually made two more. So none of them are finished, but I am currently working on two more, I should say. So first I started to work on this one, and they look super goofy at this point when they don't have anything else added. But this is what he looks like. So like a darker blue body and then light blue stripes. And I don't know what happened there, but this one actually turned out quite a lot smaller than the other one. Like holding them up together, you can kind of tell. And I don't really know why that is. It's like the same yarn and the same hook and everything. So maybe I was like super stressed while making this one. But he's a little smaller than his friend, but still I think he's super, super cute. And I also have prepped all of his parts to attach to him. So he already has a tail, and then the two feet and the two arms, so we can attach them. And I think that this will be like way easier because now I have this one to go off of, like the rows and like the stitches between the arms and the feet, for example. So I can just base the placement for this one on the other one that I have finished. So that's a big plus, and I definitely should write this down before I take them to my markets in the future, so that like if they turn out to be a good seller, then I can always refer to what I have written down for myself for like the placement of arms and feet, and I don't have to like worry about that in the future again and try and figure that out again for myself, because I already know like what I like them to look like, if that makes sense. And then the final dino that I was working on is another T-Rex. So this is what he looks like. So pink with like darker, more like berry pink stripes. And I usually don't really like this color. I've had this color in my stash for such a long time because I don't know, in the past I've called it like flesh color. I really don't know what I don't like about this color, but usually it's never like my preferred shade of pink that I pick. But for this one, I actually really like the color combination. I was thinking about whether I should use a brighter pink or this, and I ended up going with this, obviously, because I just think it looks a little more muted and not like in your face as much as the bright pink would have looked. So I really like this combo, and I'm glad to be using up a little more of this flesh colored yarn. And then I also have the tail prep for this one, so this one is ready to go. I still need the feet and the arms for this one, so I need to work on those. And this one, again, is the same size as the first one I made. So I really don't know what happened with the blue one. Maybe it was because like at the same time I was working out which part of my computer is broken, so maybe I was like a little more stressed when I was making this body than this. So I don't really know what happened, but I still think that he will find a home in the future. But now for the plans for today. So of course, first of all, I want to finish up those two. So that is what I will be working on. And then we will get into something really exciting because I've been having so much fun making these little T-Rexes that I actually went ahead and bought the big pattern for the big T-Rex. So this one is the small version, which is a free pattern by Mary Makes. But she also makes like bigger T-Rexes, or I'm not really sure if she's still active anymore, but she used to make quite a ton of like bigger T-Rexes, and those are actually from a paid pattern by Blue Phone Studios on Etsy. And since I really like the look of these, and I've been wanting to make like a bigger plushie as like a centerpiece for my booth at my markets again, ever since my last big dragon sold, I decided to go ahead and buy the bigger pattern and work on that as well to like make them a real little T-Rex family. And I've also already picked out the colors, but I think for now I will actually finish those two and then we will get into the plans for the big dino.
Fed up of feeling so downhearted, moaning every day about life. I wanna finish up everything I started, take a chance and roll the dice. A brand new, I wanna feel brand new. A brand new, I wanna feel brand new. You've got your dreams, I've got my dreams. Together we're so clever, everything will be redeemed. I've got my dreams, you've got your dreams. Together it's forever now.
Okay friends, so I've now finished up the other two dinos. So here is the whole trio completed. So I'm not sure which one is my favorite. I think this one is actually my least favorite. First of all, because it's like a little smaller and I don't really know. I don't love the blue color combination. I don't think it's like super original or like super special colors. But then these two I actually both really like. So I think this is like a super cute combination and they both turned out so cute and so perfect. So I'm super glad to now be able to add 4 more dinosaurs into my finished plushies bin. And then we will actually now move on to the big version of this dinosaur, and I'm really interested to see how big it actually turns out. I think it has like almost twice the amount of rows, so it should come out almost twice the size. So like this is what I'm guessing. So quite a decent size, and I really want it to turn out a good size because, as I said, I want to use that as a centerpiece for my markets and hopefully have that for a couple of markets to attract people to my booth. So that is the plan. Let me add the finished plushies into my little bin, and then I will pick out the 2 colors that I want for the big dino and I will start working on it and hopefully make quite a good progress on that tonight. Okay friends, it's now not the next day, it's now Saturday. I ended up spontaneously going out with friends yesterday, so I didn't really get the chance to check in with you guys, but I still made quite a lot of progress. So let me show that to you right now. So on Thursday, when I was talking to you the last time, I had just started the big dinosaur. So like the big version of the little T-Rexes that I've been working on throughout the week. And I made quite a lot of progress on that. I honestly don't have that much left to do. So let me just show you what it's looking like so far. So this is what the body looks like currently. I actually ended up having to get some new safety eyes. So this is 20mm safety eyes. And before that, the biggest that I had were 14mm, so I had to get quite the bigger safety eye set for this one, but I think this looks just way better. The 14mm, I tried them out, but they were just way too small. It was not that good looking, so I ended up buying some 20mm safety eyes late on Thursday, and they just arrived this morning. I had been crocheting the body for some time because like you don't really end up closing it up until like at the very end. So I ended up making most of the body and now just adding in the safety eyes and yeah, finishing the whole body. I really like the color combo on this one. So I ended up going with the bright red. And then what I showed you originally on Thursday was a much darker red, but I ended up going with this like medium red because the darker red just looked a little like too contrasty on it. I tried it out, but I ended up liking this way more. So it has a little less contrast, but I think that is just like the right amount of contrast for the stripes to really show up still, but still like be very much in the same tone of the body color. So that is what the body is looking like. And then I also have all of the parts made up as well. So I have the two legs here. So they will, just like with the small T-Rexes, they will be like going on like the bottom front of the dino so that it kind of leans back a little. I have the tail, which obviously will be going onto the back of the dino, and then I have the two little arms that will be sitting like kind of right here. So I know that this is like the original pattern, and then the small one was like a variation of it, but I still really like that they look very, very similar and will look like a little family. So now the only thing that is left to do for me is to finish up this one and sew on all of the little parts. So I will try my best and do that right now, and then I will check in and show you the finished big dino. I'm really happy with the size of it so far. Like this will be such a good centerpiece on my table. I don't usually make a ton of bigger plushies, so this also like being a super bright color is such a good idea, I think, so that it will attract lots of customers to my table hopefully in the future. But now let me work on this one and I will check in once I have finished the big dino. Okay friends, so it's now a little while later and I have finished up my big dinosaur, and honestly I think that I did a pretty good job sewing. So you probably know how I am not a huge fan of sewing on pieces because I usually can't really like get it straight. But this time around, I think I actually did a pretty good job. So let me show the big dino to you right now. So this is what he's looking like with his cute little arms, the feet like at the bottom, and then the tail at the back. So he has kind of like a lean back position. And now I have grabbed my big basket full of all of the other dinosaurs I made this week because I wanted to compare how much bigger the big one is compared to the small one. So this is what they look like next to each other. Definitely quite the big difference, but definitely they look like a little family, so I can definitely see the resemblance for those. So I think that these will look so cute together at my market table, of course with the other small T-Rexes, but I think they will look so cute at my market table as a little family, and I think this is like one of my favorite plushies I've made. I am really obsessed with this one, and I definitely think that he will be such a cute centerpiece. I'm not 100% decided on how much I want to sell him for. Honestly, I haven't decided for any of the plushies I made. So just to give you a little bit of a recap, this week I made 4 of these brontosauruses, and these are the only ones where I actually know how much I will sell them for. So I sell those for 22 euros each, and we have made 4 of them. So that is a pretty good stock for those. And then for the little T-Rexes, I have not decided like 100% how much I will sell them for. I'm thinking like comparing it to the Brontosaurus. They're kind of like a similar size, but this one needs like a lot of sewing. So I'm thinking that I might push it to 25 euros for the small T-Rexes. So we will see. I might go with that for like the first few markets, and if they don't sell, I might have to adjust it. But for now, I think I will go with 25 for those and 22 for those, because these are no-sew, so they take me way less time to actually complete. And then for the other type of dino that I made, so this Triceratops, I haven't 100% decided yet again what I will sell him for. I will have to like compare it to some other plushies I have in my inventory, but I'm thinking like something like 40-ish euros would be alright, because he has quite a lot of pieces to sew on as well, and he is quite detailed. So I might go with that, and then maybe like lower it to 35 if he ends up like not being super popular and not selling for a while, because he is kind of like fall themed. So I would love to sell him during my October market, but we will see about that. I think that I will go into the market season with having like 40 euros for him, but we shall see if that works out the way I wanted to. And then finally for the big one, I really don't have any idea what I should price him at. So if we're looking at the small one, and this will be going for 25, I'm thinking like this should be closer to like 60-ish, because he is like really chunky. I'm not sure if that is like a fair price, but at the same time, I'm not opposed to slightly like overpricing him for my booth, just so I can hold on to him for a little while and not sell him at one of the first markets. So we shall see what I end up going for with this one. I might have to compare it to some other bigger items, but honestly, like I am so obsessed with him. I am still thinking if I should even like sell him or keep him for myself, because I think he is so cute. So we shall see about that. But overall, I've had such a great time focusing on just dinos for this week and trying out lots of new patterns for those. I'm really excited to see how they will perform at my future market. So I really hope you enjoyed this video as well. Don't forget to comment down below which dino was your favorite this week. There is a right answer to that. But I thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way until the end. And I will see you guys again next week for another video. So until then, bye!